Preface. Mind-body problem solved. That's a bold, mind-blowing claim. Mind-body problem solved. Is it just an alluring title, or is there actual substance behind that affirmation? Read on to find out. It's 100% accurate. You're in for a shocker. It can't be anything else. An ongoing 450-year debate launched by Descartes' philosophy asserts that the mind-body problem represents two separate, distinct entities as opposed to one. Nobody has settled this issue until now. So it's 2023, and time to broach this exciting, earth-girdling current issue. Why? Because it's directly related to the #1 health woe in the 21st century. Not COVID-19, but mental health. The extent of miscomprehension. Here's what the Encyclopedia Britannica relates about mind-body dualism. The modern problem of the relationship of mind to body stems from the thought of the 17th century French philosopher and mathematician René Descartes, who gave dualism its classical formulation, beginning from his famous dictum, cogito, ergo sum, Latin for I think, therefore I am. Descartes developed a theory of mind as an immaterial, nonextended substance that engages in various activities or undergoes various states, such as rational thought, imagining, feeling, sensation, and willing. Matter, or extended substance, conforms to the laws of physics in mechanistic fashion, with the important exception of the human body, which Descartes believed is causally affected by the human mind and which causally produces certain mental events. The accumulated brains of science, religion, and philosophy over the last 450 years have come up empty-handed, not to say empty-headed. Why? There must be a reason. Not only that, but the cause must be hidden. Otherwise, these investigative disciplines would have found it. Here's the evaluation. Science has spent centuries examining and measuring the physical universe. Religion has drawn its inspiration from a spiritual well. However, that well is a mixture of traditions going back thousands of years, causing the assessment to be tainted. Its self-enlightenment has guided philosophy, limited by the capacity of our brain power, coupled with the unlimited human imagination. This chatter has taken us into every contradictory cranny on a jagged path of human wisdom. The solution is outside of science, religion, and philosophy. If it was not so, the collective intellect would have revealed it. But instead, it is cacophonic. If you're going to read this book, you've got to know from the outset that the approach will be totally different. The solution has few references to science, philosophy, or religion. Instead, there are call-outs to science when discussing material aspects, like cells, the brain, light, and other physical phenomena. The key is not in opposition to science. In fact, it includes many scientifically proven facts. It goes far beyond science because the solution to the mind-body problem finds neither its origin nor its conclusion in that discipline, no more than in philosophy or religion. Yes, we will refer to aspects of philosophy and religion, but those disciplines cannot and are not our starting point for this quest. As great as they may be, they are far too limited to solve the issue. To start with, we will use observation to establish a working basis. We know there's a mind and a brain, hence the mind-body problem. But we don't know what they are precisely, especially the relationship between them. You can read Wikipedia to see the diversity of ideas on this subject. Mind or mentality is usually contrasted with body, matter, or physicality. Traditional viewpoints included dualism and idealism, which consider the mind non-physical. Modern views often center around physicalism and functionalism, which hold that the mind is roughly identical to the brain or reducible to physical phenomena such as neuronal activity. However, dualism and idealism continue to have many supporters. Another question concerns which types of beings are capable of having minds. For example, whether the mind is exclusive to humans, possessed by some or all animals, by all living things, whether it is a strictly definable characteristic at all, or whether the mind can also be a property of some types of human-made machines. Different cultural and religious traditions often use different concepts of mind, resulting in different answers to these questions. The explanation starting point. The explanation has no intention of joining this cacophony. I am not about to argue or refute these claims. Instead, we will start with a few general statements I hope we all agree with. At this point, we're not even going to define them. This simple fact already shows the complexity of the mind-body issue. First, the non-living, inanimate, material world exists, like water and earth. Second, life exists, like flora and fauna. Third, there are animals. Fourth, there are humans. Fifth, there are brains. And sixth, there are minds. By the end of this book, you will have a clear definition of each of these elements, and more importantly, you will know the relationship between them. A warning about reading this book. Reading this book will be challenging. At some point, you may become upset because it does not follow your way of reasoning. You may disagree with some intermediary steps and the logic the explanation develops. Here's the deal. You can't tell what a painting or a puzzle is until you see the finished object with all the details. You only get a glimpse of the final artwork from the outline, sketch, and pieces. Your judgment on these initial fragments, or even halfway or three-quarters of the way to the final chef-d'œuvre, may be important to you, but are irrelevant to a dilemma nobody has solved yet. You must see the whole picture, the coherent completeness, as I call it, before you can make a valid judgment. By the way, there's no point in criticizing the author either. He's just a human being like you. Any criticism of his person is unimportant. It has nothing to do with the solution. Social media likes to take potshots at people because they're different. You've got to look at their ideas, acts, and messages. That's what you've got to weigh, not their being. Those who criticize people show their ignorance of live and let live. Another quote from René Descartes is also appropriate, since his name is associated with the mind-body problem. If you would be a real seeker after truth, it is necessary that at least once in your life you doubt, as far as possible, all things. Full disclosure. I condense much of this book's content from the explanation series of 7 books. That series is more the story of humankind, a chronological progression. This book focuses on the key element, the mind, in the mind-body problem. The explanation will not limit itself to defining what the mind is, nor how it works, but searches for a more profound understanding of why the mind exists and why each human being has one. We'll also discuss how humans should use their minds and how misuse can be so problematic. The mind is the crucial piece, the capstone in the story of humankind. Ultimately, it is the only piece that counts, because it is the only piece that will survive. So I'll leave you hanging there for the time being, as an encouragement to solve the mind-body problem along with me. The extent of mental health shambles. The mind-body problem is so significant because of the number one current predicament regarding humankind's mental health. The numbers are staggering. The World Health Organization says, mental health is one of the most neglected areas of public health. Close to 1 billion people live with a mental disorder, and in low-income countries, more than 75% of people with the disorder do not receive treatment. Every year, close to 3 million people die due to substance abuse. Every 40 seconds, a person dies by suicide. About 50% of mental health disorders start by the age of 14. We estimate that over 160 million people need humanitarian help because of conflicts, natural disasters, and other emergencies. The rate of mental disorders can double during such crises. 1 in 5 people affected by conflict is estimated to have a mental health condition. The World Bank indicates mental health is one of the most neglected areas of health globally. This was true before COVID-19, coronavirus, but the pandemic has further worsened the status of mental health. There are several reasons why we've ignored mental health. First is an associated stigma. Second is a perception of mental health disorders as luxury goods, as opposed to actual illnesses. The additional top reasons include a fragmented and outdated service model. Some of these include the provision of mental health services mainly in psychiatric hospitals, severe lack of preventive mental health service, lagging policy changes, and a shortage of human resources. This is one of the most pressing contemporary problems we are dealing with, yet we are totally in the dark in the supposedly enlightened 21st century. What a paradox. Our number one health problem is the mental state of our population, and at the same time, we don't even know what the mind is. So how can we hope to solve this dilemma without such fundamental knowledge? It's way past time to solve the mind-body problem. That will be our quest.